Hi, I'm Patricia Valencia, today's host for your show. And today we're here with Robert Palacios, candidate for City Council District 4. Hi Robert, thank you for joining with me.
Hi, it's my pleasure.
Now, do you go by Rob or Robert?
Rob's good.
All right, Rob, let's get started. Today we're going to focus on getting to know the candidate. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm a native Las Crucean, born and raised here. Went to Mayfield High School and graduated in 2008. And after high school, I went to Phoenix, Arizona, started school at the Conservatory of Recording Arts and Sciences. After that, I ended up back in Las Cruces to do an internship on the other side of El Paso in Tornillo, a residential recording studio. And my career was in radio. Initially in 2007, started at Bravo Mike Communications. And that's when I got interested in the path of music and learning about sound recording. And, ended up back here in Las Cruces.
You can't leave Las Cruces, huh?
Yeah.
So is that when you started your career, when you came back to Las Cruces?
Actually, so that was 2008, 2009. We were still in a recession. And I decided after finishing the master recording program at the conservatory to start my 4-year degree at New Mexico State University in music business.
Now, when did you start your business? Like, how did that happen?
Yeah. So after I started school, I also made the decision to join the New Mexico Army National Guard. And so I went to school for a year, and then I went to training in South Carolina. I was stationed at Fort Jackson for basic training, and then went to AIT. We were in Augusta, Georgia at Fort Gordon. And so when I came back, I went back to school. And that's when I was hired at KRUX, which is the student-run radio station, as the general manager. And so that's where, after going through military training, and you definitely learn your leadership through the military, but being able to run a radio station, I really started working with the boards. When I started there, it was the Publication Communication Board. Under ASNMSU, they hire the general manager and then the executive director for the student newspaper. But after you're hired, you have the opportunity to hire your own staff. And so I was working with that board and then hiring staff at KRUX. And in the meantime, going to school and furthering my career there. But I really got into business after school in 2016. I opened up the Las Cruces Mariachi Conservatory. Before that, in 2010, before I left to military training, I started a sole proprietorship, and that was my own Mariachi Sueños here in Las Cruces. And so, really my entrepreneurship and all that started before I really recognized that I wanted to run my own business and to make a difference in the community.
Now, you mentioned the Mariachi Conservatory. Do you play? Do you sing? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I've been in mariachi since 2002. I started at Vista Middle School through the music program, and then there was a great community group, Mariachi Escuelas de Plata, and they have an apprentice group, Escuelas de Cobre, that I started and really started getting involved in the community back when that was a thing. Also, the Las Cruces International Mariachi Conference started in Las Cruces in 1994, and Escuelas was a product of that conference, starting our cultural arts in the community. So that's really where I became hyperactive, very active, in the community as far as getting out and playing at events and becoming a mariachi.
So you are a native Las Crucean. You always wanted to come back.
Yes.
You mentioned some things you're involved in with the community. What else are you involved in the community?
Well, going back to returning to Cruces from my military training and moving into the business, in 2015 I went to Fort Leonard Wood in Missouri and reclassed my job for the military. And that's really when I started brainstorming and wanting to become a business owner. So when I returned to Las Cruces, started getting things in motion, putting in my applications with the state to start the LLC. Really, it would have made more sense to go in as a nonprofit with the mariachi, so it was the Las Cruces Mariachi Conservatory. But the quickest way to get things going was through starting it as an LLC. And so I started that process, and in January 2016, opened our doors to the community. Becoming a business owner, there's a lot of steps and a lot involved. You have to get a facility to use. You have to apply for your license. You have to get your city license, start a website, get social media, market yourselves. And so starting a business, there's a lot involved. And luckily the facility we jumped into is zoned properly. We didn't have to, we did our fire inspection, but I had an easy process as far as getting things going.
What's your favorite thing about being a business, was about being a business owner?
The best part is you're everything. You're the accountant, you're the janitor, you are the GM, you're the instructor. And so you wear a lot of hats, and you learn and you adapt to problems, and you come up with solutions, and you have to be very creative. And so that really helped me jump into a new direction with my career. I had already had management skill, leadership skill through the military, but now you had to put it all into effect. With going to NMSU for my music business degree, you learn the accounting, you learn how to teach, how to play music, and so it's putting all those things into place as a business owner.
Now, you mentioned some things about business owner being a leader. Mm-hmm. How do you think that that's going to connect with what you would do for city council?
Yeah, it directly connects with that because, like I said, you learn to adapt. You have problems. You have to work with a lot of people. And being a business owner, it really makes you aware of all the parts. And so being in city council, you're going to be looking at budgets, you're going to be working with different individuals, with your fellow council members. And so it just helps build communication and adaptation and stay on top of things. Yeah.
Now, let's say somebody comes around and they don't even know what city council does. Now, in your eyes and with what you're going to be doing for the city, what is it that city council governing does? Like, what is it to you? What are you going to be doing? So
city council is the voice for, of course, our districts, our individual districts, and the city as a whole, because we don't just focus on our district, we make policies that affect the whole city. And we also work directly with the city manager. So there's a lot of important things that city council does, but it's also being a face and a voice for our community. So communication is key.
Now, being for District 4, what are some important things to you that do exist in that district?
Yeah, so as I've been out door knocking, people bring up traffic, and there's dogs barking and different things. The overall feeling that I get from the district is everybody loves Las Cruces. That's why I'm here, building the next generation. Nobody wants to leave Las Cruces, but there's a lot that we can do for our community.
And what is something that you would make as your platform? Like, what is your main focus in District 4 as a city council?
So my platform as a whole is, it takes a community and building the next generation. It's really putting things in place as a whole for the city to build an industry, to find out what is next. We have New Mexico State University, we have White Sands Missile Range, but really what's our industry? And also in District 4, we have Industrial Park, and we have the airport. So it's not just the community, but also finding opportunities to better utilize those areas.
Now, tell us a little bit something about the Valley Drive project. I drive it every day, and I see that it's affected a lot of people in Las Cruces. How has it affected you? So
the Valley Drive project started the planning process back in 2014. And Nathan Smalls was a part of that. He was councilman for the district before Jack Ekman. The ones that were invited were businesses directly on Valley Drive, and the Las Cruces Mariachi Conservatory is down Amador, closer to 17th Street. So I don't think I would have been directly, even if I was in business at the time, would have been directly involved in the pre-planning. Valley Drive was to be phased out. It's an NMDOT project, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And so looking at the Las Cruces Mariachi Conservatory, we started our business in 2016. It takes a couple years to get your traction, you know, so last year we were in year 3. From opening the business to just having one student, my goal was 40 students within a certain amount of time, and by year 2 we were at that goal. We brought in 2 youth programs. Mariachi Escuelas de Plata, the one I started in, is now under the Mariachi Conservatory, and a new group, an all-female youth group, Las Muñecas, plus our individual private students. So we have private instructors that do voice, violin, guitar, trumpet, and then the mariachi-specific instruments, guitarrón and vihuela. So we were growing at a pretty good rate, and then I did a summer camp last June with bringing in 8 brand new students that weren't previously under the conservatory. And then in July, the construction started. The only intersection affected the duration that will continue to be affected the duration of the project is Amador and Valley. It's sandwiched between phase 1 and 2, and phase 2 now is the last phase of the project that will continue until approximately next February. So little by little, you know, we were doing 30-minute lessons, sometimes an hour. But when it takes time, 30 minutes to even get to where the parents were taking their kids to the lesson, you know, we slowly started losing clients. And the big thing for me, and where I started getting involved last November, the contractor, it's an NMDOT project. The contractor decided to jump into phase 3. So we weren't even done with phase 1. Hadn't started phase 2, but went into phase 3, which cut off 3 major intersections in the district, Picacho and Valley, Amador and Valley, and Avenida de Mesilla and Valley. And that's really where the grassroots movement with the community started, and these meetings were highly attended, and the business community rallied and said, hey, what's going on? This isn't being phased out. You're affecting a lot of intersections, a huge part of our community. And you know, businesses started closing. We're having 30% loss in revenue, and so that's a portion of why I decided to run for city council.
Well, you just took the next question out of my mouth. I was about to ask you what made you passionate about, you know, running for city council.
Yeah.
What did, besides that, what is something that you are looking forward to? So
as I am very active in the community, the more I get involved, the more I see the opportunity for a young voice, a very motivated leader, and someone that fights for our Hispanic culture and arts in the community as well, and I believe that I'm that person. So going back in history, so 2010, sole proprietorship, going to school, opening my business in 2016. Also in 2016, I did Leadership Las Cruces with the Greater Las Cruces Chamber of Commerce. And with Leadership Las Cruces, you start seeing many parts of our community. We look at government, education, agriculture. There's different topics that are covered through the duration of Leadership Las Cruces. And that was eye-opening, because it's easy to sit back and stuck in your lane saying, you know, Las Cruces, there's not a lot to do, there's nothing growing in our community. And I was kind of at that point, and I took Leadership Las Cruces and I go, look at all these opportunities, look at the great stuff that's happening. We just got to communicate and help highlight all these great aspects of our community. And so Leadership Las Cruces did a lot for me. So 2016, 2017, I became a conquistador, which are the business ambassadors for the Greater Las Cruces Chamber of Commerce. And I'm currently an amigo with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, but also becoming involved with the Las Cruces International Mariachi Conference. So when I was working in 2015 to open up my business, the board for the conference came and they were looking for space to rent. Part of me opening up the business is the mariachi or music education in our community isn't sustainable in the public schools, and so that was the precursor to me opening up the conservatory. That's awesome. Well, we'll have more with Robert, your candidate for District 4 City Council, right after this quick break. Okay.
Nice.
Guys, not all.
Horizon Granite is here. We'll come to you to customize your kitchen and bathroom with beautiful countertops and cabinets. Find out more at horizongranite.com. Call us at 575-650-3180.
Horizon Granite is here.
It's here.
Make yourself a beautiful home.
Hi, I'm Ray Bamberg with Here on Earth. I would like to invite you for a free hearing evaluation to our office. We've been here in southern New Mexico for 34 years helping people hear better.
And we're back. Once again, I'm Patricia Valencia, your host for the show today, and I'm here with Robert Palacios, Rob.
Yes.
Candidate for City Council District 4. Now, when we left off, we were talking about the Las Cruces Mariachi Conservatory. So tell us more about that.
Yeah, so as I'm opening up the conservatory, like I said, having programs in our schools just wasn't sustainable. A certain director might be teaching, say at Centennial High School, they started a mariachi program. Well, that director leaves, and unless somebody else feels comfortable taking it on, a lot of times those programs leave with the director. When I started at Vista, Jennifer Rogers started that program. She left to Cruces High, who had a mariachi program, which was great because she was able to take it over. But then the one at Vista goes away. So little by little, I saw mariachi go. There was a generational gap in our community. And so I saw an opportunity there to keep our heritage and our culture alive. And that's when I opened the Mariachi Conservatory. And then I made the connection with the Mariachi Conference. Initially, it was just renting space to them to store and hold their office space. And then I was able to get on the board of directors. So in 2016 is when I started. And by 2017, I saw an opportunity, and we needed an executive director. And so with my connections and what I was already doing in the community, I stepped up as the interim director, and by 2018 took over as in a volunteer capacity, but the full-time executive director of the Las Cruces International Mariachi Conference. At the time, when they left, so they separated from the Diocese of Las Cruces, and they started their own nonprofit, the New Mexico Advocates for the Arts. And I saw that they weren't highlighting that. And so since then, we've really expanded on that portion, the nonprofit New Mexico Advocates for the Arts, and doing more in the community. So at the end of October of last year, my business license was up with the city. We were at a loss of clients as far as it being my business. So the New Mexico Advocates for the Arts took over operations of the Las Cruces Mariachi Conservatory. But I don't wish that upon any business owner. You know, of course, we were in our moving forward to work with the nonprofit and to have that, but it wasn't. I passed on the business in a need of survival, not because it was the natural process of moving forward for the business. So luckily the conservatory still operates under their care, the parent nonprofit for the organization. They also have, like I said, the 2 youth mariachi programs, the Las Cruces International Mariachi Conference, and now fiscal agent for Camerata del Sol, a community chamber orchestra. But through all of this, the importance is our youth, education, expanding cultural arts. And so this is how I've become more and more active in the community. At our first full mariachi conference in 2017, the return of the conference, somebody heard me speak as the executive director at one of our performances and said, hey, you know, La Academia is a strong middle school bilingual charter school in our community. We think you'd be great to serve on their governing council. And so the governing council is the school board for charter schools. And so I started looking into it. La Academia is very unique. It's the only bilingual charter middle school in our region. They also promote ballet folklorico, mariachis, and conjunto, and as well as some music tech, sound, visual stuff that they've implemented. But it's unique in our region because I don't think the public schools, just like I don't feel that four-year college is the be-all, do-all for education. It's an opportunity for a student to have smaller class sizes, more one-on-one experience with the teacher, and to also celebrate their cultural arts. And so in 2018, last year, February, I started on the board for La Academia.
And now you joined the board of directors for Las Cruces Symphony Association, right?
Yes, so I played in the Las Cruces Symphony in 2007 and again in 2009. So of course music's been in my blood since a young age, but now they're also expanding. Alongside New Mexico State University, they've started a youth orchestra program. Simon Goyo was spurred that based on a model that he experienced in Venezuela. And so I see the progress and the opportunity to grow our youth and our education through the Las Cruces Symphony Association. So that's something I've stepped up to the plate again, becoming involved in our community. Going back to La Academia, this is also a part of me running for city council. Last year when we went to the PEC in Santa Fe to renew our charter, we were in a renewal year. We were recommended for non-renewal, and the PEC voted to not renew. So we had to go through the process of appealing their decision to the Secretary of Education, and through the fight between our governing council fighting to keep our school open, I was a big part of that process. We were approved for 2 more years of operation. And it's these types of things where they're middle schoolers, and you should have seen their faces when they knew that their school that they loved was going to close. It doesn't matter what we have to do on the back end, it's taking care of those children. So, our governing council stepped up to the plate. We appealed the decision, and we got 2 more years. And, during that process, it's who's the voice for these kids, What's the next step? So the same thing with the Valley Drive project. It's an NMDOT project. The contractor, is AUI. But who in the city is fighting for the local business, for the community? And who knows, looking back, who could have been a stronger voice. But I want to be that strong voice. I want to be there fighting the front lines, keeping businesses open and keeping things going. And the same thing with the charter school, stepping up to the plate and making sure that I'm a voice for those kids that love their school. And no matter what we have to do on the backside, we have, of course, improve grades. The state was looking at an A through F scale that's gone now, but making sure we're doing everything in our power to make sure those kids have a place that's safe and feels like home in their educational process.
Now I know that your slogan is "It takes a community." It's kind of like it takes a village.
Exactly.
With our kids.
Yes.
How important is the youth to you in Las Cruces to council over for city council? It's
very important. So people I grew up with, that graduated with, we go to New Mexico State University, get their degree. And then what's next? They're moving to Dallas, they're moving to Austin, to Phoenix, to Las Vegas. And I talk to many of my friends, and they want to come back home, but what are they coming back to? Lower wages, a community that's growing, but we still have that small town mentality, which is good. When, like you said, it takes a community. That's the connections, and when certain things happen, I look back at when Hurricane Harvey hit Texas, and our community came together right away with donations and water and food, and the way our city operates is what makes it unique. When we need to come together, we do. You know, when El Paso, the shooting happened in El Paso, Las Cruces came together and made things happen, raised funds to support and to say, hey, we're right next door and we're here to support you. When the asylum seekers hit our community, City Council stepping up and putting funds towards that. So it makes Las Cruces very unique, and I want to be a part of that, and a lot of people do. But it's going back to building an industry, building an economy that can support that.
So you're very active in the community. Now, let us know, like, what would you tell the people right now if you could tell them, this is why I want to be your candidate, your City Council District 4. Why should they vote Robert Palacios?
So you should vote Robert Palacios because, and we'll go back to this as far as being generational in the community, but I'm here to be a full-time counselor, to help communicate the issues, to sit at a table, and no matter the views, we're here to take care of Las Cruces. And when we do that, when we're able to communicate and have a healthy conversation back and forth, that's what makes Las Cruces special, and that's why I want to be your city councilor.
Well, thank you, Robert, so much. It was a pleasure, and thank you for coming on today, and we look forward to hearing from you in the future. Of course, Robert Palacios, for a candidate for City Council District 4. We'll see you next time on the Candidates Forum.
I'm Robert Palacios, and I approve this message. Carissa Avila, Treasurer.